Maia, born Sebastião Rodrigues Maia in Rio de Janeiro City, was a Brazilian musician, songwriter and businessman known for his iconoclastic, ironic, outspoken, and humorous musical style. Maia contributed to Brazilian music within a wide variety of musical genres, including soul, funk, bossa nova, disco, romantic ballads, pop rock, jazz, baião and MPB. He introduced the soul style on the Brazilian musical scene. Maia is internationally recognized as one of the biggest icons of the Brazilian music. Maia recorded numerous albums and toured extensively in a long career. After his early death in 1998, his recorded oeuvre has shown enduring popularity. A theatrical retrospective of his career, the popular musical Vale Tudo, was first staged in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. Biography. 1950s. Maia was born in the Tijuca neighborhood, in the southern suburbs of Rio de Janeiro. He began writing melodies while still a child, the second youngest of 19 children. Then known as style.Maia, he wrote his earliest songs at age 8. At 14, as a drummer, he formed the group Os Tijucanos de Ritmo, which lasted 1 year. He then took guitar classes and was soon teaching other children in Tijuca. He also gave lessons to his friends Erasmo Esteves and Roberto Carlos, fellow members of the so-called Matoso gang, named after the street where they used to hang out. The gang also included George Ben and Erasmo Carlos, among others. They liked to listen to the earliest styles of rock and roll, with both Maia and Ben being nicknamed Abelina after their enthusiastic pronunciation of Ronnie Self's song Bopalina. In 1957, Maia, Carlos, Arlinio Silva, Edson Trindade and Wellington started the vocal group The Sputniks. After a televised appearance on Carlos Imperial's Club de Rock on TV Tupi, Imperial arranged a solo appearance for Roberto Carlos the following week. Maia got annoyed at this, leading him to insult Carlos in the following rehearsals until his bandmate left the group. After watching Carlos' concert the following week, Maia left the Sputniks and went after Imperial for a solo appearance. Imperial eventually suggested another artistic name, Tim, which Maia accepted with reservations. In 1959, Maia went to study in the United States, where he lived for 4 years. He joined the vocal harmony ensemble, The Ideals, and wrote the lyrics to New Love, which was recorded as a demo with guest percussion by a young Milton Banana. The group's career was derailed in 1963 when Maia was arrested for possession of marijuana and deported back to Brazil. 1960s. After returning, Maia had a few unsuccessful jobs under arrests in Rio. Eventually he decided to move to Sao Paulo to try to get help to kickstart his musical career from Carlos, who was beginning to enjoy the massive success of Jovem Gado with Esteves. Carlos was inaccessible, but Maia started to perform in Sao Paulo's nightlife and in Wilson Simonal's radio program, and also had a televised appearance at TV Bandeirantes with Os Mutant. By the end of 1967, Maia managed to send a homemade recording to Carlos, who got in Maia a deal for a single at CBS and an appearance on the Jovem Gado TV program. His first single, in 1968, Meu País, backed by Sentimento, went unnoticed, as was another single, These Are the Songs, What Do You Want to Bet, recorded in English for RGE Discos. Maia also wrote one of Carlos' hits, Eu Vou Ficar. He became more visible after 1969 when he launched his These Are the Songs, which was re-recorded by Elis Regina in the next year in a duo with Maia. Maia managed a deal with Polydor Phillips and recorded the successful single Primavera, 1970s. In the 1970s, Maia started to record albums and perform shows was promoting his synthesis of American soul and Brazilian music with elements of samba and baião. The movement gradually took the working-class suburbs of the north side of Rio de Janeiro, exploding in 1976 with the Black Movement. In 1970, Maia recorded his first full-length LP, style.Maia, which included the classics Azul da Cor de Mar, Coronel Antonio Bento, and Primavera, and topped the charts for 24 weeks in Rio de Janeiro. His first 4 albums were all self-titled. Next year's style.Maia had other hits including Eu Quero Dinheiro and Preciso Aprender a Surso. His 4th album, released in 1973, included E Que Te Confesso and Gostava Tanto da Voce. Angry at how the music publisher distributed the royalties, Maia opened his own Saroma to make sure he had a bigger cut of the profits. After his 4th album, Maia left Polydor for RCA Victor, who offered him a chance to record a double album. The instrumental parts were all ready when Maia went to his composing friend Tiberio Gaspar for help with the lyrics. In his house, Maia found the book Universo MD San Canto, revolving around the cult of rational culture. Maia converted to the cult, abandoned the drugs and red meat, and decided to write the lyrics for the songs about the knowledge contained in the book. RCA rejected the album's style.Maia Rational, Vols. 1 and Amp 2 for the newly found spiritual content, but Maia bought the master tapes from them and released the albums independently through label Saroma Discos, which would split its profits with the cult. While lead single Que Beleza had some airplay, at the time these records were not well received due to inadequate distribution, and the spiritual content alienating both the radios and Maia's fans. Eventually the artist could only perform at events promoted by the rational culture. Eventually in 1975 Maia got fed up with the cult, destroyed the unsold records and went back to his carefree life. The rational albums are now regarded as classics and saw re-release in 2005. For his return in 1976, Maia signed with Polygram and recorded an album also titled style.Maia, which included the hit Rhodesia, and also did a self-published album in English. In 1977 Maia signed with Som Livre, where he recorded the album Verão Carioca. In 1978 Maia signed with Warner Brothers Records and incorporated the disco sound of the period in the album style.Maia Disco Club, which spawned the hits Sossegado and Acendero Farol. In 1979 Maia recorded Reencontro for Emmy Odeon, but revolted at the label's estimated promotion costs, which were the same as the money spent recording. Maia fought with the marketing executive, and in response Emmy president fired Maia, releasing the album with no publicity to low sales. 1980s and 1990s. In 1980, Maia recorded another self-titled album for Polygram. The following year, with turbulent passages through all the major labels in Brazil, Maia released again through Saroma the album Nuvens, which flopped due to inefficient distribution. To earn cash for his future albums, Maia was a guest in songs by Fevers, Edu Lobo and Chico Buarque, Ivan Lins and Sandra de Sá. His collaboration with Sarvel Tudo later became a solo hit for Maia. In 1983, he had hits with O Descobridor dos Sete Meses and Me de Motivo, included on O Descobridor dos Sete Meses. Another milestone of his career in the 1980s was style.Maia, which had the hit De Lemão Pontal. In 1990, Maia saw Caetano Veloso's songbook and asked editor Elmir Shediak to do one for his own work. Chediak was working on such an album with bossa nova classics, and Maia requested a copy, which eventually inspired him to do a self-released album of bossa nova covers, Tim.Maia Interpreta Clássicos da Bossa Nova. After a period of poor presence in the media, he was again on top after being mentioned by George Ben-Jors with Brazil in 1991. In the same period, Maia had another hit with his re-recording of Lulu Santos' Como Uma Onda for a television advertisement. Santos in return recorded Maia's Descobridor dos Sete Mares. At the same time, he withdrew from majors, recording his next albums through Vitória e Acute GIA, including What a Wonderful World, where he recorded American pop, soul classics, and Amigos de Rey. Tim.Maia EO's karaokes with the famous vocal group Obese and in Bad Health. In March 8, 1998, he was performing at the Municipal Theatre of Niterói when he became ill. He was hospitalized and died a few days later. Personal life. Tim.Maia had two sons, Carmelo Maia with Guisa Gomes da Silva, and José Carlos da Silva Nogueira. He was also the surrogate father of Guisa's other son, Marcio Leonardo Eliacuto Maia. Eliacuto was registered by Tim as his son, although he knew that Eliacuto was not his child, since he met his wife Guisa when she was already pregnant. She had been separated from her boyfriend, who refused to recognize Eliacuto as his child. Tim and Guisa started living together, but they broke up after a few arguments. When they made up, she was pregnant with Carmelo. Tim registered Carmelo and married her. When Eliacuto Maia was 12, Tim.Maia and Guisa divorced. Maia lived in the United States of America from 1959 to 1963. He first resided in Tarrytown, New York, with the family of an acquaintance of Maia's father's costumer, but he learned English and did not speak much Portuguese because so few Brazilians were living in the USA at the time. In 1961, Maia moved to New York City, and in 1963 with a group of 3 friends decided to travel to southern United States, with a stolen car and performing small thefts to finance the journey. Maia and friends traveled through 9 states before arriving in Florida. In Daytona Beach, Maia had his final imprisonment for marijuana possession, which earned him deportation back to Brazil. Tim.Maia became a member of the Brazilian Socialist Party in October 1997. He was rumored to have joined the party in order to run for a seat in the federal Senate for Rio de Janeiro in the 1998 general elections, but died before that. When asked by a reporter why he chose to join the then small PSB, he replied, "Brazil is the only country where, in addition to whores coming, pimps being jealous and drug dealers being addicted, poor people vote for the right wing." His phrase would become a famous aphorism on the way Brazilians face politics. He was also known for his easygoing lifestyle, and for his habit of light-heartedly missing appointments and even important gigs. Indeed, Maia had a tradition of arriving late at concerts, at times missing them altogether. He also frequently complained about the sound quality in them. Many of his missed concerts were due to what he called his triathlon, consuming whiskey, cocaine and marijuana before a gig. In the end of his life, Tim.Maia suffered from many health problems which included diabetes, acute hypertension, obesity and pulmonary embolism. In 1996, he had aphasia gangrene solved through an emergency operation. Legacy and homages. After his death, Maia was the subject of numerous tributes by música popular brasileira artists. 2 lavish commemorations in 1999 and 2000 were each released on CD and DVD. A biography, Vale Tudo, O Som e a Fúria de Tim.Maia, was published in 2011 by one of Maia's personal friends, Nelson Motta. Motta later worked with João Fonseca on a stage version of the book. The musical retrospective *Tim.Maia, Vale Tudo began a successful theatrical run in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. The film adaptation *Tim.Maia, based on the book, is expected for 2014. In 2004, Som Livre released an album of posthumous duets entitled Soul Tim, Duetos. Maia's entire discography, including the never-before-seen third volume of *Tim.Maia Rational, was reissued by Editora Abril in 2011. In October 2012, American record label Luakabop released a Maia compilation entitled Nobody Can Live Forever. In January 2001, Guns N' Roses guitarist Robin Fink sang Sossegado during the Rock in Rio 3 festival. In 2007, TV Globo recorded a special program about Maia, Portodra Minha Vida, and in 2009, Globo had an episode of its show Som Brazil with Maia's songs, performed by his son Elia Couto and Seu Jorge among other artists. TV Cultura released in 2012 *Tim.Maia's 1992 episode on YouTube of their Ensaio music program. Discography. Maia released his first album in 1970 and recorded frequently throughout his career. The following is a representative list drawn from his extensive catalogue. 1970, *Tim.Maia, 1971, *Tim.Maia, 1972, *Tim.Maia, 1973, *Tim.Maia, 1975, Rational. 1976, Rational, Volume 2, 1976, *Tim.Maia, 1977, *Tim.Maia, 1978, *Tim.Maia Disco Club, 1978, *Tim.Maia, 1979, Reencontro, 1980, *Tim.Maia, 1982, Nuvens, 1983, O Descobridor dos Sete Mares, 1984, Suffocante, 1985, *Tim.Maia, 1986, *Tim.Maia, 1987, Somos America, 1988, Carinhos, 1990, Dance Bem, 1990, *Tim.Maia Interpreta Clássicos da Bossa Nova, 1991, Sossegado, 1993, Eu Quero Dinheiro, 1993, Romantico, 1994, Volto Claria, 1995, *Tim.Maia ao Vivo, 1995, Nova Era Glacial, 1997, Cro Meu Grande Amor, 1997, Sorriso de Criança, 1997, What a Wonderful World, 1997, Amigos de Rei como os Cariocas, 1997, Savoce para Suviri Dancar, 1998, *Tim.Maia ao Vivo 2, 2012, Nobody Can Live Forever, The Existential Soul of Tim.Maia.